Hi everybody, welcome to another inbox review and build review. Today we're going to look at the Thousand Suns Magnus the Red Primarch of Tzeentch for Warhammer 40k from Games Workshop. Obviously now it's been a while since I put out any videos on a regular basis. I'm hoping to change that fairly shortly. With this being the first video obviously, and soon to follow will be actual me painting this. But let's get into the review on this first and foremost. We're going to do a quick unboxing, and then we'll do a build as well in today's video. Just to show you guys the box. Now this miniature came out maybe a little under a year ago, I think. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. That said, this actually comes in a double box sleeve here. Show you guys what's on the other box. That's pretty cool. Not sure how I feel about this guy just yet. There are some quirky bits that I think I'll omit from the assembly when I'm doing it, such as the chest plate here. I think the protruding horns here, and it's just ridiculous. And also the orb here, or whatever you want to call it, the ball of light or magic or whatever it is, that also looks a little silly, so I think I'll leave that off. But other than that, it's a pretty solid looking mini, and it's also quite large too, so I think it'll be a fun thing to paint, especially given that I plan on doing a lot of airbrushing on this, meaning it'll give me a good opportunity to actually hone my airbrushing skills as well. So let's take a quick look on the instructions. The one thing I will say about Games Workshop instructions, and they're quite clear and quite easy to follow. Start off assembling the legs, move on to the mane or the hair, and then the head with the horns. You do have different face options on here. One of them being the Cyclops eye option, which I kind of looked at, and I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't decided yet which head I'm going to go with. Then you move on to the wings. The staff, again, I'm going to keep this this detail here off, and you do also have an option of, instead of using the staff, you give them a sort of a sword or scythe or half scythe or whatever you want to call it, a sword, or instead of the staff here. Other than that, then you move on to actually putting the sub-assemblies together. This armor plate is going to stay off. As you can see, he's fully detailed without the armor. His chest is fully detailed, so I'm going to keep him bare-chested on here, because again, I think this just looks silly. Continue with the assembly. The base, I still haven't figured out what to do. I will while I'm assembling him. Put the rest of the wings on, and voila, he is done. And again, shows you the two options for either the staff or the sword here. Moving on, gives you rules, or point values and rules. I'm pretty sure this is going to be outdated with 8th edition pretty soon. And then it gives you a color guide of how to paint him. I still haven't decided how I'm going to paint him. I'm going to stick somewhat closely to the colors they use, but obviously I'll be using scale 75 paints instead of Games Workshop paints. Now this is actually really cool too. A really impressive piece of art on the back of the instruction manual here. Now let's take a look at the sprues. Obviously your round base here. Start with the two big ones. And I will say this is very nicely detailed. I'm really impressed with what Games Workshop did here. Here's the one-handed sword with the runes in it, which looks really cool. Moving along, this looks like some kind of maybe base detail that goes on the base, or yeah, it's a broken. It's a dreadnought arm. Which is actually really cool to put on the base. The armor here, I think I'm going to leave some of these bits off while I paint at least, and then glue them on separately. So I think I'm going to end up dry brushing the armor with true metallics, which of course by then the skin's going to be painted, because the skin's going to be the first thing painted with an airbrush. Here are the wings, again, really nicely detailed. The staff. Just a cool thing about this is the fact that they didn't mold the orb with the staff, so it's and there's no nothing that needs to be filled from this over here. So that leaves me, it's an easy option to leave it off if you choose to. More armor here, and very nicely detailed. And if this speaks for anything like current or recent GW kits, this will go together fairly quickly and easily, with minimal mold lines, which is always a plus. Here's all the hair pieces, heads. Your face options are here. Those are actually your helmet options. Oh, here are the face options. So here's the first one, again, really nicely detailed. Is that the Cyclops one? No, it is not. Cyclops one is right here, which I think looks a little odd. It's this one here. And it looks weird because it still kind of looks like he should have eyes, but then they give him that eye in the middle there. So I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm going to leave that one off. I think I'm going to end up going with option 3 here. So yeah, that's the kit. So what I'm going to do now is head upstairs, get set up, and start assembling. Alright guys, so I'm ready to go to start assembling here. Just a real quickie before I do. There's a couple of tools I'll be using. Handy dandy X-Acto knife. A couple of diamond files just in case I need them. Usually wouldn't recommend using these on plastic, but I really don't think I'll need to file much anyway, so just in case I'll have them sitting here, and my handy dandy sprue cutters. I will be using Tamiya extra thin plastic cement to glue this guy together. I'll refrain from commentary during the assembly. What you guys will probably see on video is just sub-assemblies going together, and just I want to make this as quick, as painless as possible, but to give you guys a good idea of how this comes together. So I'm going to get started. After the assembly, I will talk to this a little bit, show you guys some more details up close when it's fully assembled, and I will talk to this a little bit more to see if I had any problems or if there's any, issues that stand out. Alright guys, well, this actually took a lot longer than I was expecting, but Magnus is finally done with the assembly time and the cleaning. It took a little over 5 hours actually. There's a lot more seams that needed to be filled than I was expecting, and a lot more mold lines that needed to be cleaned up than I was expecting. As you can see, also I left the armor off of him for the most part. The bottom portions of the armor I installed, but the top portion, especially the breastplate, I left off, and I also left off his mask or his helmet or whatever you want to call it, because I thought it looked silly as well. And I ended up leaving off the armor that went, or that goes on the, that goes on the wings here, because that didn't look all that great either. Anyways, quick review. As I said, this is a little bit more involved than I was expecting, especially from a newer Games Workshop kit. Not that it was bad. No, it went together easily enough. Yeah, the detail does look superb on it, obviously, but again, I just guess I was expecting a little less resistance as far as the mold lines and as far as the seams that needed to be filled. Especially given some of the newer Age of Sigmar kits where they're engineered pretty well to the point where minimal cleanup is required, really. Anyways, I'm actually really stoked about starting to paint this. I love the way it looks. The base is going to be sort of a wasteland lava base with the I'm going to add some sand in here or some gravel in here to fill out the edges in between the cork and the dreadnought arm that he's standing on, but other than that, he is ready for primer. So, my next video will probably come within the week of me actually painting him, start to finish, hopefully. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the assembly. As far as, let me do a quick review too and talk about it real quick at least. As far as ease of assembly, the instructions, I mean, it went together really well. Parts fit together pretty well. Again, a little bit more mold lines than I would have liked to see, especially on a $140 kit. A little bit more cleanup than I would have liked, but again, the detail is quite nice. I mean, the detail's very nice. So, well worth it. I actually didn't pay $140 for this kit. I know that's the retail price. I ended up paying $80 shipped, so is it worth $80 all day long? Yeah, it is. Would I have paid full retail for it at $140? Yeah, probably not. Again, a few quirks about this that I didn't like was the chest armor, which I left off. The helmets that I left off as well were a little weird. His hair. His hair, his mane, whatever you want to call it. A little silly looking. I also feel like the horns could have maybe been a little thinner. They're kind of weird looking as well, but other than that, I'm happy with it. Happy with how it came out. You know, again, easy enough to assemble, minus the cleanup. And again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you probably within a week with the follow-up painting video of it from start to finish. Thank you very much for watching.